see things like a 2-degree scenario that IPCC would put out, or a 4-degree scenario, or a net zero pathway by 2050 that the IEA, released, or things like this that are scenarios in the sense that they are visions of what would have to happen for things to evolve towards these targets. Are those scenarios in the sense that you mean the term, or are they forecasts? I guess that's my question.
Well, think of it. If I tell you your portfolio is aligned to a 1.5 degree world, this is the language that's used today. And actually, we really need to change that language. I should have called the book, Let's Change the Language. Because how can we possibly know whether your portfolio, as it stands today, will be aligned to a world that will be 1.5 degrees? We can't. 1.5 degrees is a deterministic point. It's a stake in the stand, 1.5 degrees. Scenarios are, well, it could be 1.5, 2.5, whatever. So the language that we use even in management and right up to the IPCC, the UN, banks, and so on, is just way off. We say Canada's committing to a net zero by 2050. First of all, we've missed every possible target that we've ever committed to. That's just an aside. But how do you possibly know that what you're doing today is going to lead you to that? The best you can do is think back to driving on the East Coast in the dark. When you come around the next corner, your scenarios change. You see something in the distance, you think, well, maybe it's a moose. And that's the kind of thinking. Risk thinking would say, we are more likely to hit a 1.5 degree world with your portfolio than not. But we couldn't say it's aligned with 1.5. And so I think, we live in a world where we use a language which is way off.
So I think let's pursue the climate change application of this, and thinking about maybe from a corporate point of view. If a company is thinking about trying to assess its exposure to various kinds of climate risks, I think part of what I hear you saying is there's a real richness of the kinds of factors and the kinds of uncertainties that you have to consider to generate scenarios that are rich enough. And it's a lot more than just saying, in one dimension, we need to think about what if the carbon price is 0 or 50 or 100 or 150. It's more than just thinking, are we in a 2-degree world, a 3-degree world, whatever. How do you think about kind of creating the richness of variables, the richness of uncertainties that would create scenarios that would really capture the full range of the kinds of risks that you want to think about?
So it starts with picture, I don't know, imagine you're a bank and you have a lot of mortgages out there. And let's say you're in the States and it's a 30-year mortgage, just to make it a good example. Those mortgages are in all sorts of different geographic locations. Some may be affected by heat stress. Some may be affected by fire and heat stress. Some may be affected by extreme weather, tornadoes, and so on. And so parts of your portfolio are affected by different risk factors. So the first key is understanding what risk factors affect which parts of your portfolio. And then the second step is really to say, well, we can't predict what those factors will be in 2050 or 2100. But what we can do is elicit the uncertainty in those factors. And in our case, we use an algorithm to take that uncertainty and generate scenarios from it, which are multi-factor, which means, for example, a fire in Australia is really the result of heat, drought, and high winds. And when we have heat, drought, and high winds in Australia, we actually have rain in East Africa. We know that. That's from climate. So climate science plays a role which links geographies, but it starts with understanding the risk factors, then understanding the uncertainty.